Hi guys, it's Mislaili and I'm so happy to be here with you today because we are going to be talking about the 8 pathways to memorize the Quran for beginners, easy and effective. Memorizing the Quran is one of the best practices that all Muslims want to share because memorizing the Quran has many verses, one of which is that later in heaven will be given a high degree. Even the memorizer of the Quran can provide a crown in heaven for both parents and free from hellfire. But as we all know, that memorizing is not an easy job. Sometimes even memorizing one letter takes a long time. Sometimes it's not uncommon for the letters that have been memorized to not last long for memorization outside the head. If that's the case, the desire to memorize the Quran sometimes just becomes mere desire. For this reason, if we really want to memorize the Quran, we should start learning to make good use of time. Find the best way to realize this desire, and the most important thing is to straight out the intention so that what we want to do can last a long time or we can do it consistently. So, here are 8 ways to quickly memorize the Quran for beginners easily and effectively. First of all, familiarize yourself with the Quran. Familiarity with the Quran is one of the most effective ways to memorize the Quran easily and quickly. Increase the time to interact with the Quran. Don't think about difficult Quran memorization method first, but think about how to start reading 5 juz at one day or have to memorize one ayat one day. Number 2, improve reading. Before starting how to memorize the Quran, it's very important to check the quality of the reading that we have. Give time to improve the reading of the Quran so that memorization becomes more perfect and the rewards obtained are multiplied. This is also need to be done so that we avoid mistakes in reading and making mistakes. Memorizing the Quran does have many verses, but it must be done in a good and correct way. Number 3, frequent muraja or repeating the recitation. The more often you repeat a verse, the easier it will stick in your memory. Do not rush the app memorization without repeating the previous verse many times. This is to reduce the risk of losing the memorization. It's highly recommended to repeat murajaah as often as possible so that the first we have memorized can stick in our memory for a long time. Number 4, set a target for memorizing the Quran. Before memorizing the Quran, it will be very good to set a target and timeline for our memorization. By having a clear target, we will be easier in memorizing the Quran. Sometimes, in the middle of memorizing the Quran, we usually experience obstacles, such as memorization that becomes difficult to enter or lazy to add more memorization. If that's the case, our enthusiasm will usually decrease. So, we feel that the Quran is difficult to memorize. Therefore, having a target will be very helpful in disciplining our memorization. Number 5, make a memorization schedule. In addition to setting targets, making a regular schedule for memorizing the Quran is also very important so that we can be disciplined in the memorization process. Try to provide a special time to memorize the Quran every day. There are several recommended times to memorize the Quran, including in the last third of the night, during the middle of the day, and in the morning after the morning prayer. Number 6, listen to a lot of muratal. One of the easiest ways to memorize the Quran is to listen to muratal often. Usually, we will remember a verse more easily when the verse is counted in a measured rhythm and listened to repeatedly. The more often we listen to muratal, the more verse we memorize quickly. Number 7, using one type of Quran Mushaf. To make memorizing the Quran easier, make sure to always use the same Quranic mushaf. Using the same mushaf will make it easier to remember the location of the verse we have memorized. The analogy of memorizing the Quran is actually similar to recording images into memory. So, the shape of the mushaf will affect the structure of our memorization in the brain's memory. Number 8 is the comma. Being a Quran memorizer must have a firm principle to always maintain memorization even in any circumstances and situations, because no success can be achieved unless it is based on strong consistency. So, no strong memorization is achieved unless it is consistent in repeating memorization. Therefore, to maintain memorization, a Quran memorizer must be consistent with the time management and murajaah that has been said. Okay? Thank you very much and bye-bye.